Hi, welcome to week 2 of your headstand challenge. So in this week's video, we're going to be looking at alignment again, and specifically how we position our head on the floor. And we are going to start to take some weight and come upside down today. So if you remember a couple of weeks back, we were looking at the alignment of the elbows directly under the shoulders. So just to recap, that is what takes most of the weight in your headstand. So only sort of a 5 to 10% of the weight is actually through the head and the neck. So if you remember, your elbows are directly under your shoulders. You can measure it out by taking a hold. We then interlace the hands, open the palm. So today we're going to then place the crown of the head down on the floor. And understandably, people do get worried as to whether they're placing the right bit of the head on the floor. I'm going to teach you a trick for that, but actually I'd rather you take some time to feel where the right alignment is in your body rather than rely on the trick. So if you just sit tall for a moment, let's see what it would feel like this way up. So if you bring yourself into a seated position, lengthen through the spine so you're sitting nice and tall, relax your shoulders down away from your ears, lengthen through the back of the neck, and straight up to the crown of the head. See how your neck's in this long, neutral position here. And it's this identical shape of the neck that you're looking to find when you're in your headstand. You don't want it to be tipping forwards or backwards. So when the head's on the floor, just take some time to think, does my neck feel straight? The same as when I'm seated upright. And then you will have the right alignment. Again, the little trick is to find the very tips of your ears, place your thumbs there, and then bring your middle fingers up, and where the middle fingers touch on the crown of the head, that's normally that flat bit, and that's exactly where we're headed for. But tricks don't work for everyone, so even if you use that, make sure that the neck feels straight. So doing that here, relax the shoulders down, sit tall, bring the arms up, interlace them behind your head. Remember to bring the elbows in so they're directly over your shoulders. And keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Lengthen out the crown of the head and a nice long neck. This is the identical shape I want you to find now with your elbows on the floor. So from kneeling, bring your elbows straight down to the floor, making sure they're directly under the shoulders. You could take a hold of the biceps and double check. Interlace the hands, palms open. Placing the crown of the head down on the floor, see if you can find that position where your neck feels straight again. Maybe try tipping onto the forehead and noticing how that's taking you past straight. Roll back onto the back of your head, see how that feels. And now can you find that neutral spot, that flat bit of your head where the neck feels straight. And at the moment we've got a fair amount of the weight on the head. So push your elbows straight down and imagine I wanted to pass a piece of paper between the crown of your head and the floor. See how there's not much weight on the head. And this is what we want to maintain, this feeling of lightness when we come upside down. So from here, we're going to come into simple downward facing dog, but keeping the head on the floor. So again, elbows directly under the shoulders, palms open, flat part of the head on the floor, very crown of the head. Press the elbows down and you could pass a piece of paper between the floor and your head. Tuck your toes under, lift up and back for downward facing dog. Now see how much weight there feels to be on your head here. If it's quite a lot, you need to press your elbows more firmly down to the floor and think about pressing the elbows down and lifting up to your tailbone. So see if you can really lengthen all the way up to your tailbone. Maybe take a couple of steps in. Press the floor away with the elbows, lengthen up to the tailbone, think about passing a piece of paper between the floor and your head, then coming back down. Slowly roll up to seated. So if you have any questions on that alignment point, please make sure you email me or see me at class. There's no point worrying. I can always clarify whether you've got it right or wrong. So we're going to come on a step from there. If you remember last week I sent you a little image showing the step-by-step approach to coming up into a headstand. And patience really is key. And how we build this is we break down the steps of headstand, and depending on how your strength is developing, we want you to find the bit that you need to stay at and hold for 10 breaths. So I'm going to really quickly show you each of the steps, and then you'll find the bit that you're at in your journey today. You'll go that far and hold for 10 breaths. I want you to keep up with all the other videos until you see that you can move on to the next step, hold for 10 breaths. So I'm going to show you more quickly, then we'll figure out which one you're at today. So first step, place the elbows down on the floor again. Actually, I think for this one, we're going to turn around, because for some of you, we might actually get both feet up off the floor, not up into headstand today, but into what we call cosmic egg. So I don't want you to use the wall, but I want you to have it there for a sort of safety net. So we're going to really try not to use it. So I can turn around and face my wall, interlace the hands, and I'm going to have my knuckles about 3 or 4 inches away from the wall. So coming down, everything we just did is the same. Place the elbows on the floor directly under the shoulders, interlace the palms, open the hands. Lift up into downward facing dog and place the flat bit of the crown of the head on the floor. Press the elbows down, lengthen up to the tailbone, and think about being able to pass a piece of paper under the crown of the head. So this is the very first step. You're going to stay here for 10 breaths, especially if you're struggling to take less weight on the head. If you feel there's a lot of weight in your head, you're going to have to stay here for as many weeks, months as it takes, really pushing the elbows down, lengthening up to the tailbone. But if that's feeling lighter in the crown of the head, you'll start to walk the feet in until your hips are directly above your shoulders. Now some people are actually able to walk in too close here, and that would start to feel like you wanted to do a backwards roll. You might also find that your hamstrings are too tight to walk in and you need to pop a little bend in the knees. But however you get there, we're going to walk in till your hips are directly over your shoulders. Press the elbows down, lengthen up to the tailbone. Think about sliding that piece of paper under the crown of the head. And you stay here, 10 breaths. After a few weeks, when you feel you can hold that, we come into cosmic egg. So from here, you're going to lift one foot into the chest. So I'm really hugging the knee into the chest, heel up towards the bottom. Press down, lengthen up to the tailbone. Hold for 5 breaths, pop the foot down, repeat on the other side, hold for 5 breaths. When you've done that, you'd come down and rest in child's pose. After a few weeks, so you start with that sort of downward facing dog with the head down, where you can hold that for 10 breaths. You'll progress to walking it in, hips right over your shoulders, hold for 10 breaths. Then we'll do the one leg cosmic egg. So you hold one knee straight into the chest for 5 breaths, swap the other side. Some of you might even be ready for 2 legs in cosmic egg, so we'll just do that, but don't rush. So again, placing the elbows down, interlace the hands, place the crown of the head on the floor. Press up, down dog. Press the elbows down, lengthen up to the tailbone, and start to walk in. Remember those of you that are quite flexible, you don't want to walk in too close. Those of you that aren't so flexible, pop a bend in the knees. Now there's no hopping here. And press the elbows down, lengthen up to the tailbone, draw one knee in. Press down, lengthen my tailbone up, float the other foot in. And there was no hopping. And here I'm really still thinking about pressing the elbows down, lifting up to the tailbone. Pressing the elbows down, lifting up to the tailbone. And you'll just hold here for 10 breaths. Because when you know you can hold this for 10 breaths, there is absolutely nothing stopping you taking the knees up and the feet up and holding your headstand. We come back down the same way when you're ready, and always into child's pose. So keep coming back to this video. You can always skip the introduction. You don't need to hear that alignment on where you position the head all the time. Each step, 10 breaths, child's pose, come back to it another day. Once you can hold a stage for 10 breaths, you're ready to come on to the next stage. Good luck, don't rush. Any questions, please ask. Namaste.